Da, 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 da. Oh,
We love the
getting
we
it
love the
going
theme
over
song.
here.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Finn's Bandwagon. I'm your host, Hank's son, Evan Posner, and with me, as always, is my dad, Hank Finns to Win. How are you, Hank?
Hey, I'm doing great, Evan. Today is like glorious to me because I'm like a balloon. Like I said on Twitter, I'm like a balloon. I'm like expanding and expanding, getting ready to explode for the season, to be honest with you.
Counting down the days. When are you heading down to Florida to Miami?
To
Miami
watch the
Gardens.
game, I'm
Yeah.
going to either go down Saturday night or Sunday early morning.
Well, so you're not jumping in like Belichick. You're not going to fly down there 5 days early and scope out the stadium and steal some of the Dolphins playbook.
You know what I think he's doing? I think he's trying to acclimate his guys in that 5 days.
How can you acclimate them? We'll get into it, but how can you acclimate them in
Hey,
South
I'm
Beach?
just telling you. I think he's trying to give them a leg up by bringing them down early, let them run around in that heat a while, and see what it's all about.
Okay, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Welcome to the second episode. We're excited to be here. Smash that like and subscribe button. We have a special surprise at the end of the show that we're going to announce, but welcome to the show. And we're going to talk about some really fun stuff leading up into week one. So, Hank, I'm going to just start off with yesterday, Mike McDaniel had his press conference, and a lot of it caught me and really impressed me. Like every particular press conference has really impressed me when you compare it to how Brian Flores was, but it really made me feel really more excited about this upcoming week. Like if we weren't already excited, I'm really pumped up. If you've ever taken into a full McDaniel press conference, have you ever taken a moment to watch a full one?
Oh, I've watched quite a few actually, and he's very methodical in what he's doing. He's not just making a show. He's being himself, which is the best thing that you can be, and just by being himself, you can tell he's intelligent. You can tell he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's looking for. He knows who he's looking for. He's got a plan. He had a plan before he came to Miami, and like he said, he's there to make everybody else as good as they can be. So fins up, everybody. Fins up.
Hammer time, California.
Hammer
Thank you for
time,
joining the show. It's always a pleasure to see you guys. Yeah, so no, one thing I really took away from it yesterday is he really is the highs and lows. Like he really just focused on, like he had the happy times where he was telling jokes. He had the moments where they talked about Jenkins and how they were having the memorial that day and how he got all choked up and just how humble he was. And I feel like that's the one thing that I got out of his press conference is like he even joked about the fact that him and Belichick and what does it feel like to be facing him and the win-loss record. And it's not like people are going to see him. He made a really funny joke about the Oklahoma drill and imagine them going one-on-one on Oklahoma drill and how funny that would be. And if some people don't know what that is, it's the two offensive linemen against two defensive linemen. I think Belichick might squish him, but he's got some speed as a wide receiver. But no, it was just that sense of how he engages with the media. And I feel like it just filters onto the team. Like I feel like there's no intensity, like there's no sense of tension leading up into week one for
What's
a team
up, Steve?
What's up, Steve? It's more just that feeling of sense of usually you enter week one with all this pressure, and I feel like he's really calming the waters. Like, do you feel that? Like, do you really feel that sense of like the difference between how he is and how Flores was and how the previous regimes are? Do you feel like when's the last time you saw a coach in Miami that gave you that sense of comfort and enjoyment listening to him talk? Like I could listen to him all day.
Yeah, it's like he could be your brother or your pal. Is that's exactly my point. The only difference is he's got this, he treats everybody like his buddy until it's time to come onto the field. And then when he comes onto the field, he might make a joke or two, but like he said in one press conference, he might be making it for a reason.
Don Shula. Don Shula
used to do. Yeah. Exactly.
Wow, going back 30-something years. It was actually interesting. I got to watch an interesting documentary. Just on a side note, they just posted a documentary on Disney Plus. Thank God for my kids, where they recounted the draft with Elway to Marino, and it was just an amazing thing. You should check out that documentary. But it's just like, and they interviewed Shula and they interviewed Marino, and that's true. Like, I feel like we haven't had that sense of comfort and that sense of enjoyment. Even when you had Jimmy Johnson, and that sense of enjoyment hasn't been there since Shula. And that's the difference. I felt like he literally, just by the way he engages, the way he his mannerisms, the way he's really built the community as well, like, and how comfortable it was when I was at training camp. He's building a real interesting rapport with the fans, and he's going to be someone who wants to be here for 10 years, wants to be here for 15 years. The people have talked about, he's a one and done. He's built himself around that. He's really a player's coach, and I think that's really going to make a difference.
Yes, I think it makes a huge difference. Anytime you have someone that's leading you that'll gravitate toward you and your ideas and beliefs as far as game strategy, etc., he supports his players. Obviously, he flew out and did the Tua thing in the early days. So, I mean, everything is what he says he is. And that's what I like about the man. He's genuine.
Yeah. So one interesting, I wanted to just focus a little bit on the two important takeaways on the serious note regarding the team. So one thing that someone asked him a question on, which was an interesting focus, was the cornerback position, which I know you've talked about in previous shows. We were all concerned about Byron Jones and where they thought he was going to fill in. Now he's on the PUP list. But they seem to have never wavered. So let's start off with the cornerback position and the fact that they seem to be really comfortable that if Howard's on one side, that whether it's Crossan or whether it's Needham or whether it's Kader Kohu, whatever they need to do there, that they're comfortable there and they haven't wavered. Are you comfortable, or do you feel like, do you believe in the coaching staff? Do you believe in Surtain? Do you believe in Madison, that they truly believe what they believe, or they really believe the young guys are ready to go and they can sustain 4 games without Jones? Or do you have any sense of hesitation? And if you do, focus on the bandwagon aspect of it. Like, give me where your concerns are and why what would make your concerns go away?
Well, it's real simple. I would rather have Jones than any of the people you mentioned, first of all, if he's healthy, of course. But he's not. So in that case, Needham fills in just fine for me. Needham fills in just fine. And the reason I say that is because you keep Holland on the same side. And then you have Holland backing him up to some degree and making sure things don't get out of control. So that would also help too, because, less going his way, and the more that Holland can pick up early, the better off it is. So, or they might try to push Holland back a little ways with him. I don't know what they're going to do, but I like Needham. I like what he can do. We've watched him for a while now, and I don't know. He does all right. I think.
At what point would you put in Noah in game 1? Would Noah ever see the field on defense? Igbo, would you see him on the field, or are you saving him for punt return and return game because he can actually return some kicks? Would you trust him any time in the first half? Would you ever put him anywhere on that field?
In the first half, no.
No?
No. We'd have to either be winning or losing real bad, one or the other.
Okay. So let's give me something that, because we're a bandwagon show, what should Dolphin fans, what's the good they see what's the good you see in Igbo? What is something positive you see in him?
The positive I see in Igbo is he has talents, and if they're keeping him, they plan on doing something with him at some point in time today or in the future, whether that be some type of trade. I don't know what you'd get because he hasn't shown he can play the position yet, but if you have talent there that says that he can do it, then you have to go with it. And they stuck with him for a reason.
Yeah. So the other topic was interesting that I took away, and it's been a topic. They've never flinched on the major concern that was last year more than it was Tua, which was the O-line. We know where Armstead was. They never flinched on moving Connor Williams to center, and they've never flinched on going to get somebody out. And I was one of those people who was on the JC Treader train or something at center to do something just to get another veteran there. They have not flinched. So on your level of confidence on the O-line for this scheme, with Teron Armstead, with Eichenberg, with Jackson, with Jones, and with Williams, how confident are you heading into week one? The fact that they are so dead set that they think they have the right skill set for this scheme. How confident are you? Have they convinced you?
I've seen the O-line move like we haven't seen them move in a long time, to be honest with you. Just the schemes, the simple schemes that they were running, but you had the offensive line constantly moving, constantly shifting. They were following up and watching on the defense. They were actually protecting a bit. I mean, I like what I've seen out of the O-line, and, we're adding Armstead to that, which is to his rollout side. So I like that also, because that's the side that Tua rolls out to. So guess who he's gonna have beating the crap out of somebody as he comes around? Yeah. Armstead.
Yeah. No, for me, as the great founder of the Finns Talk Network always says, I believe in this coaching staff, and they have such veterans in all the different positions. They brought in a veteran offensive coach in terms of Frank Smith, who knows how to run offensive lines. And then they have Matt Applebaum, who's young, but he's done offensive lines. And you have Surtain and Madison. So and they have Darrell Bevell at quarterback. There's just a sense there that they're ready. And then the other thing, the topic they talked about is the fact that they've never wavered. Also, McDaniel never wavered on Tua, and how confident they are, and how he's the lead getter, and everyone's just propping him up. And I really don't think it's a smokescreen. I think there's a sense of family there. Like the first time, the last 3 years, you just felt like this icky feeling, and that something wasn't right. I think
you're telling me we have a Ohana.
Exactly.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, we have an Ohana. Exactly. No, you should be wearing your lei tonight. But no, honestly, there's just that sense of family there. There's that sense of family there. I think you're going to sense something when you're there on Sunday that you haven't felt. I've been to a few Dolphins games, and it's never felt full. It's never felt enjoyable over the last 20 years. And I've been to.
Oh boy!
It's going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking.
Yeah.
And you're going to sense it. You're just going to sense it. It's going to explode. The other interesting today, because I only posted them today, so I only got a chance to focus on them today. But I want to go over a few of the captains who spoke today. So that spoke during the press conferences today, which were interesting. So let's start off with Tyreek Hill. So Tyreek Hill, I feel like, and there's been a few articles written about it, and then McDaniel talked about it yesterday, how he truly is, even though Tua needs to be the leader of quarterback, that Tyreek Hill is the first person he truly goes to. And to give feedback to the players, and he's the true leader of the team. Do you feel this team runs through, and the success of the team, even though the quarterback number one position, that the overall success of this team is going to run through Tyreek Hill?
I don't think that the overall success is going to run through Tyreek Hill. No.
In a leadership sense, I mean.
In a leadership sense, I think as far as him as a leader, especially in the wide receiver areas, absolutely. No doubt about it. He's definitely a leader, and he leads by example, obviously. You've seen his work ethic. You've seen him on the field. You know what he can do. It's no surprise to anybody. He's going to have a huge impact. And leadership, yeah, definitely. He could be a big help also to Tua as far as coming in and leadership and sharing that leadership is my point. Yeah. And when you get a combined team, and also, like you were saying, Ohana, you get that.
Yeah. Yeah, Hammer Time's right. They are ready. They're all just ready. Now, one thing that was interesting, they brought up that he's really built into the community, which really impressed me. Though he's opened up a store, which you should check out when you head out to Miami Gardens and Aventura Mall. He opened up a store with his mother and his sister's a store manager, where he opened up a clothing line. It was one of his dreams. So he's building himself into the Miami community. So he doesn't plan on going anywhere anytime soon, which just shows the leadership that he had. And he actually chose to do that and actually decided to commit it to the team by pausing his podcast. It's not about him anymore. It's more about building a community within Miami. So how do you sense that sense of leadership? The fact that he's taking a pause with his podcast to focus on the team and to solidify his brand and his name in the Miami community. Does that impress you?
I like it. Again, it goes to show his work ethic. He's putting what needs to be first, which is getting ready to play. Yeah. So it's at that time. It's time to do that, I guess. Maybe he'll have something after Sunday to say on, or something like that. But, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I that's the one thing I noticed that when he was in Kansas City, he was more brash. I feel like the humbleness of McDaniel has filtered throughout the entire team. And like, I remember how we all talked about how Tua is very, very calm and demeaned. And I feel like that's when you watch these press conferences, there's that sense of relaxation on the team. There's no overexcitement. They're saving it for the game. And I feel like they're just just so pent up with excitement that they're going to explode. The other person who spoke was Teron Armstead. So Teron Armstead, who's one of the few players that did not play during the preseason, and he really showed his sense of leadership and how it's not just about him, because everyone says like he was the golden ticket during the offseason. Like Hill wasn't even a thought. Like everyone was focused on Armstead. And like, how do you feel his leadership? And do you feel like what kind of effect is he going to have on the rest of the offensive line?
He's going to be a huge help. He can teach people technique and things like that, whether he's on the right side, the left side, playing guard. He's not going to have to play any of those positions, but I'm just saying, coming in from where he's, with his expertise, and you have a young group like that. I mean, we went out and got the best offensive lineman that was available. You can't do any better. Yeah. That's the way it is. We got the man. We needed him, obviously. Yeah. And you've upgraded the offense 3 times now. So hopefully something's sticking, and it seems like with McD, everything's going to be fine.
I call him McDolphins now, but it's perfect name. Mike McDolphins. He's really changed. It's really his team. McD, Easy E, McD. We're gonna come up with all these short nicknames. No, but one thing that was actually an interesting motto which they've developed, which is great. He's been teaching the offensive line, which I think you'll love. 3 easy words. There's assignment, that every player needs to know who they're assigned to. There's the landmark, where you need to go in the scheme, and then it's attack. And I think that's what they need to just focus on, is that they focus on those 3 individual things, and they know where each one's going in unison. Like in a choreographed dance, they're going to be phenomenal, that offensive line. I think it's really going to be amazing. Then the other person who I spoke was Javon Holland, which honestly, I listened to this guy and you'd never know he's 22. Honestly, like he's wise beyond his years. I believe like he's as important now to this defense as X is in that backfield. Like he's like our center fielder. Like you can't do anything without him. So that's why I like him as far as backing up the cornerbacks or taking on a little extra in the field if he needs to. Yeah. So what are your expectations from him this year? Like there's just a sense of maturity there. Do you what's your highest sense of expectations for him this year? I think he has the possibility of coming up with quite a few interceptions. Pro Bowler? To be honest with you. What's that? Pro Bowler? In my opinion, probably, yeah. He should have been last year, but that's all right. I would sign at the moment they can sign him to an extension. I definitely will as well. And then the jokester of the group is Christian Wilkins. I feel like he's really. I love that guy. One of my favorite players on the team. Do you know? By the way, I didn't know this till this press conference. Do you know who his favorite team was growing up? Who? The Patriots. He's from around that area, and he said today, which was amazing. He goes, that just give me more ammunition to go after them on Sunday. Like I want to go after my own team, which is phenomenal. It's just that sense of you can sense that captaincy with him. Like he has that jokester. But one thing that was interesting, they talked about how much he loves to be hated by the other team, because Ogba said last week how no one wants to face Christian Wilkins, and like that there's that sense there, like that leadership. Like how high are you on Christian Wilkins?
Oh, like I said, he's one of my favorite players on the team. He's always getting after it. He's pushing he pushes the line back, goes right on in there like it's everyday business half the time. And then he jumps around and plays and has a great time like a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And he's a big man doing these things that he does too.
Well, I honestly, I'm convinced he should be our third down back. If we're literally like 31, let him run it in. Honestly, I have a prediction. It's not part of the of the year that him and Robert Hunt will each have a touchdown this year. I'm telling you, we will have an offensive touchdown this year. Flip the script on everybody. The interesting thing, we talked about it briefly at the beginning of the show, but I want to get your opinion on it before we move on to some quirky bets, because we're now 22 minutes into the show. Remember to smash that like and subscribe button. We're having a great show tonight. We're just focusing on the key elements that are going to be really important for week one as we head into the season. Where do you stand on the fact that Belichick is doing something that no other team has done? They've lost. They're 2-7 in their last 9 games in Miami. The fact that there's been turmoil, they don't have an offensive coordinator in New England. They're coming back with Parker. They're coming back with Bowden. And the fact that Tua is 3-0 against Belichick. Let's not all forget that. The fact that he's bringing his people down to a place where all teams think it's a vacation. The fact that he's coming down to Miami, coming down to West Palm to practice. He will not be able to keep these kids locked. These veterans, even their veterans are still kids, locked up in their hotel rooms for 5 days. Why do you think he's down there? Can't be because of the heat. Can't be because of this. Why do you think he's doing it? Do you think he's just trying to get away from? I'm convinced he's trying to get away from the negative publicity that they're facing in New England on how this team is going to be in turmoil all year. But what are your thoughts? Why do you think he's down there 5 days in a row? And do you think it's going to backfire? Do you think it's going to help? What are your thoughts on there?
My thoughts are that he is bringing his team down for conditioning. That's one thing. The other thing is his name's Belly Cheat. I mean, just think about it. The guy's name alone tells you what he's down there doing. Same thing he's always been doing, trying to cheat.
I think he's going to sneak into the facility, play some cameras. You never know. No, I feel like for the first time ever, and actually I'll admit this, as a big Bandwagon fan, I have that sense of trepidation. Unlike any year, it's a nervous excitement, because in previous years, I will admit, was I excited with Flores at the beginning? Yeah, but I never had that sense of excitement. I knew that the team just wasn't going to be what they needed to be. This year, because it's so funny, we have these high expectations. We're very high on the team. All the media is not talking about them. Like Peter, I mentioned this to you because I read about it this morning, but it was Peter King has predicted that he's on with NBC. He's predicted the Super Bowl winner for the last 4 years. He hasn't gotten the opponents always right, but he's predicted the Super Bowl winners, and he has the Dolphins in the playoffs at a 9-8 record on a tiebreaker. And I go to myself, I have this nervous trepidation because I have higher expectations than that, way higher expectations. I know you do. So this is one of the first times I have this nervous trepidation that they might fail. But then I come on this show and I get even more excited about the fact that, you want to know what, they're going to be fine. And
they're going to be better than fine.
And that's why I want everyone to think they're not going to be that great. And what drives me nuts, and I'm sure Steve and I'm sure Hammer Time California and you and Bobby, how can you expect this team to have the same record as last year? Like, honestly, even if it's a tougher schedule, our team is loaded. Like, we have I personally think we have the right quarterback. And I've said this over and over again, because you need a distributor. You don't need a superstar thrower, because of the kind of team that we're built around and the kind of coach that McDaniel is. You don't need a gunslinger. You need a manager. You need someone who's just not going to make those mistakes and throw a ball 75 yards. And one interesting point I wanted to bring up, and I think you'll appreciate this, is everyone's focused on the how. how he threw the ball. Like that game, you and I have talked about this. We talked about Finn's talk today, how, that 55-yard pass, and you've been the biggest defender of Tua, that he can throw the ball deep. He threw the ball 51 yards, and everyone, and what was the end result? A player went to get the ball, and he still threw it 50 yards. No one focused on that. People don't focus on the what happened. They focus on how it happened. And that's what people have to focus on this bandwagon. You don't join this bandwagon if you're going to focus on how. You have to focus on the what, and the what is the end result, and the what's going to be that this team is going to shock the world. And I think that the people are going to realize that, you know what, the team is people keep on saying the team is loaded, but they don't have the right stuff. In the end, they don't have that right set of experience.
No,
they're going to shock them.
You know what everybody doesn't believe in? They don't believe in Tua.
Yeah.
Bottom line, they don't believe in Tua. That's the bottom line. And the problem is the kid's never really had a real start. I'm not going to sit here and go through the list of crap that he had to do because people just call it excuses, so we'll move on from that. But I'm just saying the kid has got to play good. This is his year, and he has to do well, and I believe he will.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had this kind of talent around him since he was back in Alabama. So now he has the same talent. Now let's see what he can do. Can he be that same Tua that he was in Alabama now that he's healed and everything else is the way it's supposed to be? He's had a year to condition and train, get ready to throw the ball deeper. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. No, for me, the best comparison right now is there's a reason why Jimmy G is still in San Francisco. Now to go, Kyle Shanahan knows who, even though Jimmy G is not a superstar quarterback, this is the quarterback that brought him to 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. Like, there's a reason why he's not so sure on Trey Lance just yet. And they spend all this money to get him. You go with what give you the most comfort. And look at what McDaniel was able to do with a game manager in San Francisco. So I think the sky is the limit because I'm so excited to see what's going to happen. The tricks that are going to be up the sleeve is going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. So I cannot wait. So as we're heading almost 30 to the hour, I thought we'd have some fun and look at some quirky predictions for week one, and just have some fun with what's going to happen this week. So the interesting thing. So on an offense, there's 11 players, but it seems that Mostert and Edmonds are going to have. We'll start with the running game. Are both going to be considered 1A, 1B. At the end of the first game, who's going to have more rushing yards of all the running backs after week one? And will there be a 100-yard rusher?
It'll be Edmonds.
Will he have 100?
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Will Tua throw for over 300 yards in this first game?
Yes. He
will he throw a pick?
No, he won't.
Will he throw more than 2 touchdowns?
Yes, he will.
Okay.
I expect 3.
Okay, how about this? I'm going to give you a trick. Who's going to be the reason Tua gets sacked for the first time this season? Who's going to be the root cause of it? It's a trick question. It doesn't have to be a lineman.
I was going to say it's going to be whoever's on the defense on the other side. That's who it is.
What do you mean?
You asked me who's going
to give up that sack? Who's going to give it up? Who's going to be the root cause? Who's the first offensive lineman or player who's going to cause you fits and it's going to cause Hank to swear for the first time at the game?
The center.
Or will it not happen?
The center.
Williams?
Yep.
Do you have concerns about him, or do you feel like he's going to grow into the role?
I think he'll grow into the role, but you asked me who I thought was going to give it up, and I think he might be the one that gives it up first.
Yeah, I feel like
I have a little more faith in Jackson than everybody else does because we have a new head coach that knows how to train people and takes his time with them.
And I think people's biggest acclamation from what I've read is Eichenberg. But I think Eichenberg hasn't played a full game with Teron Armstead on his wing. Like, honestly, like, the guy's going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
First TD.
Absolutely.
First TD of the game. Who's
first
catching
touchdown of the game.
Who's catching it? Who's catching it?
That's going to be Gesicki.
Gesicki?
Yes.
Okay.
Gesicki's gonna run a slant and boom, touchdown.
First play of the game. Run, pass, predict it.
It's gonna be a run.
Who's running it?
Edmonds.
First down?
First down.
Okay. You made a prediction, which is already on the record, that they're going to win by 21. How many are those going to be running touchdowns, passing touchdowns, or caused by interceptions? No, forget the field goals. Like, what's going to be the main point, the main element for scoring?
21 points. 3 of those are going to come off of 2 touchdowns. So in the air, you could call it. The other touchdowns, the defense is going to have 1. And what are we up to now?
You're up to 28. One more touchdown. You haven't counted the field goal yet, so be careful.
I haven't counted the field goal yet.
No.
Yeah.
You only have 7 points left for your 35 points. I remember your score.
Yeah, I have 7 points left. I think I'm trying to put it in there. I think.
See, Sanders is going to be clean. Sanders is not going to get 1 kick. Only field goals.
No, he's gonna get his field. He's gonna just get his little field goals. He's not gonna be kicking it. He's not gonna kick the winning thing or none of that. They're not gonna need to kick the ball because they're gonna be kicking some butt.
Yeah.
So the last touchdown will be a running touchdown.
Okay. I agree. I feel they're just going to be flying. I don't think he's going to need to spend that much time kicking field goals. And I have a feeling that they're going to be. I think this is a one team. Take away the ideas of, even though he's a great kicker and I think he's going to have a great return year, I have a feeling similar to Staley in San Diego. Steve makes a good point. I have a feeling that 4th down is going to be one they're not afraid of. If it's 4th and 3 or less, they're going to go and they're in the offensive area. They're on the past the 50 in the other territory. They're going to go for it. I think they're not afraid.
I hear you, Steve.
Yeah, I agree with him too. No, I believe that though.
That's a great score. I mean, for me, I just think that they're going to get 1 rushing. 2 is going to be throwing some. He's going to be out and ticked off, and he's going to show what he can do. I think now that he has Waddle, Gesicki, Hill. I mean, it goes on and on. I mean, this is going to be so much fun to go watch.
I'm surprised you haven't left yet. I think you should head down. I think you should go be extra security at the Dolphins hotel to make sure Belichick doesn't break into the stadium. As we head into the 33rd minute of the hour, we're going to end the show in a couple of minutes. Let's just focus on the last couple of things excited into the week. What are the top 3 things you're most excited about to experience at your first Dolphins game regular season? Like what is making you so pumped up that you just can't wait to do when you get there?
This is a personal challenge for me because I'm going to go to a game, and I haven't gone to a stadium where there's this many people in a long, long time. So that's going to be pretty cool going just with all those people to start with. So, and then just feeling the crowd cheering and roaring and everybody going at the same time and feeling the pulse of the Miami Dolphins winning and stomping all over the New England Patriots. I mean, the list goes on and on. Eating the food. I'm lucky. I don't know how I lucked out, but I'm in the 200 section, which is the visitors, because I couldn't get anywhere else.
His wife's going to be with him, Steve. Come on.
So I'm backed up against the boxes where a little bit of AC trickles down the back wall to me.
Yeah, because you're on the Belichick side. Will you be shooting spitballs at Belichick from where you're sitting?
No, I'm way up by the club area. That's where I got lucky because I'm on the 2nd level. And that's where they kowtow to everybody. So I'm pretty lucky. I go out and everything's all nice.
Perfect. Yeah, no, it's a gorgeous stadium, what they've done there.
It's beautiful.
We got to give that bum Ross, who part of my tribe, the man knows how to build stadiums, and he did it with his own money, so good for him. So, it's been a great show. I appreciate everything. Hunter Long, yeah, no. Hunter Long is going to be I think for blocking, he's going to honestly. I think they're really going to utilize everything. The fact that they kept 5 tight ends, as we talked about last week, I think it's just
It's
something
going
to
to
be
be
excited about.
crazy.
No, honestly,
they're going to do double tight end sets
No.
like on Belichick, like he used to do
No,
back in the day.
I'm not going to know what to do with myself. Like the pent up excitement that I'm feeling, I can't even wait till Sunday. Like it's just it's so exciting. Like I've never been this excited about a team. I'm about to turn 40, and I literally I remember like the last like there was an interesting article about it before we go that about the greatest. Like opening game, like we faced the Patriots so many times in the last couple of years, but 1994, I remember 1994. I was 12. And what Dan Marino did in his first game back after he tore his Achilles with Drew Bledsoe, if you remember that shootout
in the mud,
I've never seen a game like that. That was Marino's like game of his life. Like I've never seen a guy throw a football like that. It was just
he
insane.
said he had a spring in the back of his shoe.
Yeah. I don't know how he was doing it. Honestly, like, how can you not be a fan of this team? Like, I don't understand people who are like, it's just so, like, how can you not be excited? Like, I don't get it. Like, so you get disappointed if there's games like this. Like, for me, the only thing that we all need to remember is that the team just needs to stay consistent. And the fact that they've stayed calm, the fact that they are just staying quiet, and the fact that they're being humble. That's what I enjoy about the team. There's a sense of humbleness. They're having fun.
No, I don't like being humble.
No, but they're humble before the game because they don't want to get people's hopes up. Like they're just so focused. They know the pressure. They know what's expected of them by the fans this year because they, like Bobby has said and like everyone else has said, they've won the offseason before, but I've never seen a team built like this. We haven't had that in 35 years.
It's been years, and like I said, I basically was born into being a fan in '66 when they became a team.
Yeah.
So I've watched, and I can tell you, this is the best I've seen since '72.
Yeah.
So you're talking Dan Marino was in there, and he did great things, but it wasn't a great team.
Yeah.
This is a team.
Yeah.
That's almost complete. It's missing about 3 pieces.
Yeah.
But once it's done, they're going to be – that's why I look –
You mentioned 3 – don't leave people in suspense. 3 pieces. What are they missing?
3 pieces they're missing.
Come on the bandwagon. You have to focus. What's the don't be negative. What's the 3 pieces?
I would love to see the Miami Dolphins have a main number 1 running back. You want a bell cow? I want a number 1 back that's picked in the first round. I want a number 1 back for once. That's just me. You don't think Edmonds can be a number 1 back? I think he's going to have 1,200 yards this year plus minimum. I'm not saying Edmonds isn't going to get yards and all that. And I'm not saying that. But if I was, you asked me, I would want a number 1 back. That's all. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I like what we have. So you want the positive side. Here's the positive side. I like what we have because of the versatility too. So it's all in how you look at it. But for me, I'd like a number 1 back, and I'd also like a better offensive line because we still have some question marks, don't we? But I believe in the coaching staff. I think they're going to develop because they're young. I think the leader. Where the difference is. That's where I believe in what they're doing just by how the team moved around. But these are things that, to me, there was 3 things, and special teams is the other part. So, I want to see some good work on special teams. I want to see better tackling. I want to see things like that. I want to see this game come out the way it should be. I can tell you this right now, Belichick is going to be coming out, and he's going to have his team running the football as much as he can, and then he's going to just start unloading after that and try to dink and dunk with macaroni and cheese. But I don't think it's going to work because the fact is if he tries to run the ball and we're able to stop it,
we're going to take a very quick lead, and the running game ain't going to work no more. And then they're going to force Mac Jones to throw. And who's he going to throw to? The guy who can't get any separation, Parker. How the heck is he going to get away from X? How the heck is he going to get away from him? Because outside of Parker, most people can't name the Jacoby Myers. Like the offense there, they don't even know the quarterback, who the offensive coordinator is. Is Matt Patricia? Like who that? He's a defensive coordinator. No one knows what's going on there. But maybe that's his smoke screen. But I honestly,
so their last years, they were the couple years back. Dolphins then.
Exactly. No. Like I was convinced Flores was to go back. Look, they recycle coaches. There's Joe Judge is back there, Matt Patricia's back there. They recycle coaches like it's yesterday's business. But no, honestly, guys, it's been a great show. I'm gonna say this before we do my last thing about the potential giveaway but Steve, Hammer Time, Mangala, California. Everyone, thank you for joining the show. I'm going to convince Steve. Steve, Hammer Time, when are you going to come on this show? You guys are two of the biggest bandwagoners I know. Send us a message on Twitter. We'd love to have you on the show. Even if you don't want to show your faces, we won't even force you to show your faces. You can just talk and join the bandwagon. Send us a message on Twitter. Hank and I, we're glad to have you on the show. But smash that like and subscribe button. And the reason why is if you guys keep on smashing it and get your friends to smash it, once we have our 500 subscriber, we're going to be giving away a jersey giveaway of your choice. Anyone you want. I can't believe he put Holland and Waddle. Where is Tua and Hill? Or Armstead and maybe, who knows, Keon Crossan. Just a joke there. But no, honestly, just be the 500 subscriber. Get all your friends to join.
Javon Holland and Jalen Waddle are the jerseys.
Those are the jerseys. My apologies. I didn't mean to jump the gun there. You have a choice. Do they have a choice of colors?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you guys have a choice of colors. So if you had a choice there, Hank, what would you choose?
I'd choose number 17 with those nice colors that it's in.
You choose as is? Okay, I would choose that too. It's a great choice.
Because remember, I'm a homer, so I'd go for the home colors.
So I apologize for my error. I will. If someone picks another jersey, I'll chip in. So I'll help out there. But no, thank everyone for joining the show. Smash that like and subscribe button. I'm going to get all my friends. I'm going to get my kids. I'm going to get their kids at school. I'm going to get my aunt, my uncle, everyone to subscribe, and then they'll give me the jersey. I'll cheat my way to that jersey just like Belichick. I can't wait to talk about the show next week. We're going to have a great show next week. We can't wait to talk about what happened in the game, and we're going to talk about the big win that the Dolphins had. So fins up, everybody.
Fins up.